As we're live.
Yes, we are. What do you think, Andrea? We're going to be talking about
That was a little breather.
Anti-aging today. So we're live on the air, folks. We're live on the air.
You're anti-aging.
Right? Look, I shaved my beard. I look younger just by doing that.
So
right. Well, folks, hi, my name is Dr. Curt. This is my beautiful assistant, Andrea McKinney. Give everybody a good wave there, Andrea. We're live on Facebook, and we're live on the air. And, you know, folks, the fastest growing branch of medicine is age reversal. So Andrea and I were talking last night, and then we were talking here this morning about, you know, what can we do to help promote age reversal in people. And so I kind of jotted down a few notes this morning, and you know, I thought we'd talk about it, we'd share it with people, and help people get back on the right road. What do you think, Andrea? Is age reversal something worth talking about? Is it something worth talking about?
Great idea. Great idea.
There you go. Great idea. So, you know, folks.
That was a little input there from anti-aging.
Yeah. And you know, when we say anti-aging.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. When we say anti-aging, it probably isn't even the right word to use, is it? Do you know why?
No, you've claimed that from the beginning.
Yeah. It's probably not even the right word to use, because when we say anti-aging, anti means stop. And if we stop aging, that means we're dying.
Right? We don't want to die.
We don't want to die.
We're reversing age, right?
It's age reversal. That's exactly it. We're gonna reverse the aging, and that really does make sense. So, you know, Andrea, I just was kind of jotting a few things down here. Let me move this out of the way. Move my microphone over to the side. You know, I think a lot of people expect me to jump online and start talking about products right away. And I really can't do that. I really can't do that. I just don't feel that it's right. I mean, why would I tell you to spend even $1 on products if I haven't convinced you to change your lifestyle?
Right.
You know, because I think that's more important than it is talking about products. You know, the most important thing, like you and I talked about this morning, quitting smoking cigarettes.
Right.
Right. I mean, if you can't quit smoking cigarettes, why would you spend $1, $2, $5, $100? And why would you spend any money on a product to slow the aging process down? It's kind of doesn't make sense.
Well, you're fighting against yourself, basically.
You really are. You really are. You're fighting against yourself. You're fighting against the whole thing. And so, folks, give us a thumbs up, you know, the old smiley face, give us the heart, you know, let us know that you're there. Tell us where you're from, and share it often, because that's what gets the word out. And, you know, like Andrea and I were talking about when we were coming back from Utah, wouldn't it be nice right now in your life if you picked the friends that you want to get old with?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Right? I mean, if you could be 90 years old and have the selection of friends in the circle that you want to be with, right?
Yeah, that would be fun. It wouldn't be like my grandmother, who went to a funeral every week and said, everybody I know is dying.
Right? And that's what my folks are noticing now. You know, my mom and dad are both right around 80 years old, and both of them are noticing that people are dying, people are getting sick all the time, and that's not what I want. I treated that 96-year-old over in Wisconsin, and I asked him one time, I said, you know, what really is the worst thing about getting to be 90, 95, 96 years old? And he told me, he said, well, all my friends died.
Right. That's what my grandmother used to say.
Yeah. And I said to him, I said, you know, Well, how can, with all the knowledge, because he was really smart on age reversal, he actually got started with it back in the 50s. He was friends with Jack LaLanne, right? You remember Jack LaLanne?
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, right. He was like the first anti-aging guru, right? And so
He sure will.
yeah, so Jerry hung around with him, and you know, but none of his friends listened. And I said to him one time, I said, why wouldn't they listen to you? And he said, well, yeah, they kind of make fun of me for it. They call me Mr. Antioxidant. That's what they called him. That was back in the 60s.
Wow.
Right? Mr. Antioxidant back in the 1960s. But, you know, smoking is really.
He learned a lot faster than most of it.
Yeah. So the next thing that I kind of wrote on my
It
list
says my internet connection is on.
yeah, are you running your Facebook at the same time? Because you're pausing.
No, I have it all.
Okay, shut off all
All
other.
locked off.
Okay. Well, then your internet is slow. Maybe it's the government watching you, but that's another story. The next thing that I had on my list that really can change your life and slow the anti-aging or, you know, process down and make it so it doesn't work is processed food.
All right.
Right?
Because it really has no nutritional value whatsoever.
Zero nutrition, right? Or way low. And what happens then is that in order to get you to eat it, they add chemicals like MSG and things like that. And they add lots of sugars and sweeteners. Back 100 years ago, the average person consumed about 12 to 13 pounds of sugar a year. Now it's somewhere around 160.
Right?
That's a lot of sugar, and so, you know, again, I'm not going to sell you any products. I don't think it's a wise choice to go out and spend a ton of money on products if you're not going to make these simple changes. And then the other thing that you and I were discussing this morning, Andrea, yep, this thing that we were discussing this morning is that lack of exercise is the new smoking problem, isn't it?
It is. There's a ton of information on the internet about that. And we've talked about that, like it affects neurogenesis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I never heard anybody say before that when you don't move, it's like blocking up your spinal fluid from moving. I'm pretty sure we want that to move around.
Yeah.
You know, and not just your heart and your lungs. There's so many functions in the body that require movement.
That's right. Well, one of I went to that age reversal. I went to, what was it? It was the American Academy of Anti-Aging Physicians Conference down in Orlando. I went there 2 years ago. And one of the things that they talked about was that if you're not exercising, if you're not actually tearing down muscle and rebuilding it, your brain starts to think you're dying. So what ends up happening is that you start going into the decay and the degeneration process. And one of the primary muscles that's involved with this brain mechanism or this process are the muscles of chewing.
Really?
Yeah, so if you're not chewing your food, right? You like how I do that? That's chewing.
Okay.
Right? If you're not chewing your food, right? What ends up happening is that your brain thinks that you're dying. And so you got to eat nutritiously, or you got to eat and then supplement with nutrients to get the nutrients. So that again is one of the things, but exercise is so important. And, you know, I remember 20 years ago, they used to tell us, try and get 20 minutes exercise every day. Well, first it was half an hour of exercise every day. Right. Then it was, then they couldn't get everybody to exercise, 30 minutes a day. They said, well, let's just do 20 minutes a day. Then pretty soon it was, then it was, well, why don't we try and get you to do 30 minutes 5 times a week? Oh, nobody would do that. So then they went 30 minutes 3 times a week. Now they're saying, well, 20 minutes 3 times a week. Can you do that?
Well, we hope so. But you can get it down to 4 minutes now.
You can get it down to 4
You can
minutes.
do your 4-minute workout.
You better be working
You
out.
have to do it several times a day, but
Right. But, back in the old days, back 100 years ago, people say to me, well, people didn't have to go to the gym 100 years ago.
no, because they were cutting wood and feeding animals and hauling rocks.
They were walking to school and walking home, walking to the store, walking down the drive. Right? Now we drive. I mean, I watch people in my neighborhood over here. I watch these people in my neighborhood, and their little kids are driving around on golf carts.
Right.
Right? Do you see it in your neighborhood too?
I see it in my daughter's woods.
Yeah. Driving around in golf carts, and I'm going, wow, we used to walk that. But anyhow, and so then the next thing I jotted down this morning was reducing your stress, cutting your stress down, and
That's a good one.
Yeah, because stress causes problems with the adrenal glands. When the adrenal glands get messed up, it causes problems with everything. And we won't get into all that because you and I have covered that on previous calls. But and then we get into toxic products, right? Toxic products. If you're not reducing your toxic load, the toxic burden on your body, then what good does it do to start buying a bunch of products? Right?
We've talked about that before, where you take a nutrient all day long, and if you're plugged up with toxins, your cells can't get it in there.
That's right. And so you need to switch your shampoo, you need to switch your toothpaste, you need to switch the conditioner, you need to switch the laundry detergent, all of these different things, because that's where most of your toxins come from. It's not going outside and breathing the air, although, we know that there's stuff in the air, but you can't really change that, right? And you're not going to live in a plastic bubble. So change the things you can change. Wouldn't you agree?
Little by little, yes. Continue to do that.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing, is that people, they look at me and they go, oh man, I couldn't do what you did. I couldn't take and just wham, change everything. But they don't realize that I didn't just go and change everything, right? You want to see that again? Right? What I did is I added one little thing, then I added another, then I added another, and I changed this and I changed that. And gradually over the course of time, I went from being 10% non-toxic to 20% non-toxic to 50% non-toxic to 75% non-toxic, and here I am. Now I'm all of a sudden, I'm if you came in my house, you'd be pretty surprised at how many non-toxic products I actually use on a daily basis.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And as we educate people and they educate themselves, you can go out there and find all kinds of information on the internet, and you can just slowly implement all of that into your life.
Yep. Yesterday, I went to the grocery store, and as I was buying my food, I'm turning the product over. I'm reading the labels.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If they were filming me, they'd probably be thinking, what in the heck? Does this guy think he's some kind of scientist or what?
If they only knew.
And then finally I wrote, you got to drink more water.
Right.
If you're going to refuse to drink water, then why would you spend a ton of money on nutritional products? Right?
Right. The first pieces of information I heard about drinking sufficient water was an article, and it said it's like taking an internal shower. So I always looked at it that way after that, like, oh, I gotta, cleanse things off in there. But it's actually more than that. We're energy beings, and water conduces energy. So you need the water for energy, for all the cell function that goes on.
Yeah.
So it's really important.
One of the things that I started doing here, I guess it was 2 years ago, I was reading some science, and they actually said that the first thing that you should do in the morning, the first thing that you should consume is a large glass of water, right? Because the brain can actually split, it can actually tell your body to split the water into hydrogen and oxygen, and your brain can run on pure hydrogen.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the first time I heard that.
First thing that you should do in the morning is you should drink a glass of water, half an hour, 15 minutes to half an hour before you eat anything, before you take any of your products, things like that, because your body will actually, your brain will run on hydrogen, where if you put sugar in, even the tiniest amount of sugar, now you prime your brain to be a sugar burning machine.
Ah, there you go.
So folks, you know, I think I covered most everything, and you know, give us the thumbs up, give us the old smiley face, you know, comment on what you think, you know, because it's important that we get that feedback and share it with people, and then this will be on a YouTube video that you can share as well. But so now, Andrea, finally, we've spent 20 minutes talking about the things that you should do, lifestyle. Guess how much money people have spent so far? More than they normally would spend. Right?
Zero.
Exactly. And will that produce results? Sure it will. And the reason why is that they found that most degenerative diseases are triggered by stress and toxins.
Yes.
Stress and toxins. So, you know, so now let's talk a little bit about products, right? And we're going to talk about products. So one of the things that I really talk about is that we're not perfect. Well, you're not perfect. I'm perfect. But, you know, most people aren't perfect. And you like that, huh? But, you know, so most of you aren't perfect. Most of you aren't perfect. And, right. And so you're going to consume food that doesn't have the right amount of fats and sugars, and when you don't get the right, when you eat foods that are too high in carbohydrates, you get a byproduct called what?
Too high in carbohydrates. Glycation.
Glycated end products, right? And so when you get glycated end products, that's like taking a piece of chicken, rolling it in flour, throwing it in a frying pan full of grease, full of lard, and you bake the flour onto the chicken or the fish or whatever you're cooking, right? And it gives it that nice golden brown appearance, right? Just like a McDonald's French fry. And so that's glycation.
Yeah, it's icky sticky.
Right? So do you want more glycation or less glycation?
Less glycation.
Less glycation, right? And so the age pill that we came up with, that Tom came up with, what does it do?
It removes glycation.
Right? And that's all you have to do, right? Is, hey, I got the new bottle. Did you see it?
No.
Yeah.
Why is this different than mine?
Pink color.
Mine's burgundy.
Yeah, this one
you
is,
get it for the week of the pink ribbon.
Yep. So it promotes and breast cancer awareness month, but it's got the new formulation too.
Oh, yet another one.
Yep. So it's actually better, right? And so you want to be taking that because it's going to remove the glycation. Again, folks, you know, I'm going to try and cover the products in the order that I think they're important. Somebody else might say they're a different importance, but this is kind of my list in the order that I thought. And then I added to it as I was writing it down this morning. So the next product, I actually don't have anything to show you. It's the Super H2 stick.
Right. We don't have anything to show.
So here it is, folks. Add this to your water, right? But what it does is it has some different metals, minerals, and what it does is it converts the the water, it basically works on a chemical basis, and it splits the hydrogen and the oxygen. So you got hydrogen molecules go over here, you got oxygen molecules over here. The hydrogen combines and it forms diatomic hydrogen, H2. And then over here you have the O2, because the oxygen molecules combine, and that's how they stabilize. So now you have diatomic hydrogen water with highly oxidation, right? And so you've got a really good, healthy water. And what they found with the hydrogen is it's one of the best antioxidants known on the planet. Isn't that cool?
That's very cool.
What does it do to hydroxyl free radicals, Andrea?
Oh, well, they have these little tails sticking out and they're running around your body. They came in there from toxins and water splitting apart when it shouldn't have, things like that. And so when you put the hydrogen in there, it locks into those hydroxy free radicals and just turns them into water, like poof.
Turns it into water. Isn't that just an easy, who couldn't say that?
Right?
Right.
And it's like people go, oh, in order to get rid of all you got to get all these antioxidants, like eat 2 bushels of blueberries and, half a dozen apples and all this stuff. And nope, just drink a little glass of water with hydrogen in it and poof, they're all gone.
So just imagine in the morning, Andrea, I was talking earlier that if you drink a glass of water, first thing in the morning, your brain uses hydrogen as fuel. Now it's a hydrogen-powered machine rather than a sugar-powered machine, right? So what if your water is hydrogen water?
Wow, double whammy.
Right?
Yeah.
Cool beans there.
Yeah.
And so I think that the hydrogen water stick is the next most important product after the age bill. You might reverse those two, and one might be more important than the other. The next thing that I added on my list is Super Omega. Super
Omega. I have some of that right here.
Right? I've got mine right here. Right? And Super Omega. It's not just a look, but it's a sound, right?
Right. Shake it, baby.
Take your Super Omega. But the Super Omega, because it's got so many health benefits. When you look at the EPA and the DHA, it helps get rid of inflammation. It helps with cardiovascular system, helps with the brain, all these different things, helps with the digestive system. At first I wrote my list and I thought I was going to put Super Omega down further, and I'm like, no, it's got to be up there. And then the next product that I superimposed it into my list because I decided that's that important. Fulvic acid, not folic acid. Fulvic.
Yes.
Fulvic acid, right? Because it grabs toxins and pulls them out, and it pushes nutrition in.
Yes.
What product do we find that in?
You get it in Body Shield.
Body Shield, right? It's in Spectrum. It's in Spectrumax too, but it's in Body Shield. It's more concentrated. And so Body Shield pulls these toxins out of the cells and it pushes nutrition in. Fulvic acid is considered to be one of those miracle molecules.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I threw in as number 4. Number 5, I threw in TSX.
Oh, yes. I have mine right here.
Right. And I threw TSX in on the next list, on the next product, because 2009 Nobel Prize was given to Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn and a group of scientists because they found that if you want to slow the burning of the fuse, because your body has a fuse in it that tells you how long you're going to live, if you want to extend that fuse, if you want to add length to it, you have to use the ingredients that are found in TSX.
Yeah, they're called telomeres, right?
Right.
Every time the cell divides, it breaks a little bit off.
Yeah, it burns a little bit of the fuse off. And so folks, we're not going to get into all the science on it, but that's the simple way of explaining it to people. And then the next thing that I added to the list was Ripped, right?
Yeah, I'm drinking it right now.
Sisel Ripped. And why is Sisel Ripped the next most important product? Well, because we talked about earlier that if your body's not building muscle, your brain thinks you're dying.
Right.
Right. And
what happens to people as they age? They kind of get withered up. They lose their muscle. They
lose muscle. They say by the time you're, 60, you've lost 60% of your muscle mass. Right. right?
I'm working on getting it back.
Right? And that's the whole thing. And you look at all these fad diets that people are doing. You look at what they've promoted, since the 1960s, they promoted a low fat diet, low fat, low fat. They get people to quit eating red meat. Red meat is one of the most nutritious things that you can eat.
It is.
Right. I remember reading some of oh God, I'm trying to think of his name now, but he actually went through and Jordan Rubin, and Jordan Rubin said that we got everybody eating all this white meat, the chicken and the fish and things like that, but he said that beef, red meat, if it's raised right, is one of the most nutritious meats that you can get.
Grass-fed, organic, no hormones.
Grass-fed, green finish, right? Grass-fed, green finish. That's the key words there. But, that's why I eat all the wild game that I have. I mean, I was just figuring it out the other day. I've got over 800 pounds of meat in my freezer right now.
You might need that. You can help feed the homeless this winter.
Right? No way. I got to feed my 3 boys, my mom and dad, friends of mine, and
I'll be out.
Right. But, so ripped is really important because ripped, what was there? I heard Tom Jr., T3, whoever you want to call him. But basically he was talking about that. There's 7 more studies that just came out on the ingredients in ripped. 30 studies,
30
right?
Studies, yes.
30 studies that we can talk about directly about this product because they were done on this product.
Right.
There's over $24 million worth of research that was done, promoted by the National Institutes of Aging, the National Institutes of Health.
Yes.
Helped fund these studies. And what they showed is that this specific blend of all these little amino acids, branch chain amino acids, triggers your brain to say, hey, Andrea, build some new muscle today.
Right.
Just like you went to the gym. And what a great product. What a great product. We won't get into that.
I know it works. I had my own experience with it, so I know it works.
What did you find out?
Well, last year we had 2 days of solid snow. And the first day went out and shoveled for 3 hours. It just kept coming and coming. I kept shoveling. And I had been taking Sisel Ripped like 1 pack a day all that time, that whole month. And my niece went out that day and shoveled about 45 minutes. She's 20 and I'm 60. I was 63 at the time. And I thought, you know what? I'm not even going to be able to move. Once I go in the house today and sit down, I won't ever get up. Or if I do get to bed, I won't be able to get out of bed in the morning. That would be the expected activity, right? I came in, I had no muscle fatigue, nothing, no recovery from shoveling for 3 hours. My niece, however, reported to me the next day, she says, oh, I don't know what hit me when I got up this morning. My back hurt, my chest hurt, my arms hurt, everything. I felt like being hit by a Mack truck. And I went, really? And so I was like, wow. So that day, we shoveled another 90 minutes that day, and I gave her Sisel Ripped. And this is how quickly it worked. I gave her Sisel Ripped, and I asked her the next day, did you have any pain after that day? And she said, none. None. And I had none. And that was my proof, for me that amino acid is going and repairing those muscle tears immediately.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Folks, I mean, that wasn't a rehearsed testimonial. I mean, she didn't know she was even going to give it today. That's cool.
Right. No, but I love it because it just proves the product.
Yeah, it really does. And that's the whole thing, and folks, bear with us. We're running overtime a little bit. I don't want to miss anything. So I'm just going to keep going. And if we run 5-10 minutes over, just bear with me, throw your comments online, give us the thumbs up, give us the like, things like that. That's the next products we're going to talk about, Andrea, is we're going to talk about the triangle of life. And the first one that I'm actually going to talk about is SpectraMax. Of the 3, this is probably the most important, right? And a lot of people might say, well, you guys talk about fucoidan so much. Why isn't that the most important? Well, if you had to break it down and you had to pick one, the reason Spectrum X is so important is because Spectrum X has 40 antioxidants. And Andrea, why do we have 40 antioxidants?
Because there's 39 levels of antioxidants breaking down.
Yeah, so you're breaking down the free radicals, removing them out of the body, and you have to have that level of free radicals. Now, our antioxidants, and with the Super H2, that might change a little bit, but I still think the Spectrum X is number one. The next one on the list, in my opinion, is I'm going to say is going to be fucoidan, right?
Fucoidan. My favorite. I could drink this like wine every day, like a couple glasses.
It really tastes good. And what is so important about fucoidan is that there's a number of things. Number one is that it reduces inflammation, gets rid of inflammation. And every chronic health problem that's involved in your body, there's some form of inflammation that's involved with it. So we look at things like Alzheimer's, inflammation. We look at heart disease, inflammation. We look at cancer, inflammation. We look at digestive problems, inflammation. And so fucoidan helps out with that. That's one of the things that I like about fucoidan. The other thing is that fucoidan has been studied. There was a study that came out April of this year. Just let's see, that was 7 months ago, so about a half a year ago. There was a study that came out that said that that fucoidan, the extracts from brown seaweed, actually help to repair the kidneys.
That's amazing.
Right? Makes sense. And so if you can repair the kidneys, according to the American Kidney Association or you know, the Kidney Foundation, they say that a high percentage of us have kidney disease and we don't even know that we have it. Why do we have kidney disease? Because we eat too damn much sugar.
Yeah.
Right?
I would say toxins too. Yeah.
But sugar is one of the primary things that causes problems with the kidney. So fucoidan helps with repairing that. And what happens is that this is really cool stuff, is that when the kidneys get damaged, when you start having kidney disease, what they've shown is that the kidneys produce an enzyme that actually destroys stem cells.
Oh, yes. We've mentioned that twice.
Right? And so if you're eating high sugar diets and you're not repairing the kidneys and you're having kidney disease and you're destroying the stem cells, but you're spending your money on products like H-Pill, or you're running out and having stem cell therapy done at a regenerative medicine center, why would you do that? Why would you spend $5,000, $10,000, $12,000 on a procedure and then continue to have high sugar levels and destruction of your kidneys?
Right, right.
Doesn't make any sense to me. And fucoidan has natural anti-angiogenic properties as well. And we know what anti-angiogenesis means.
Yeah, why didn't you explain that, Doc?
You don't remember, do you?
No, I do. It's apoptosis.
Yeah. So what it does, it cuts off the blood supply to the tumors, right? And we're not talking about studies on our product. We can't say that, oh, this study was done on fucoidan. No, it was done on the extract from brown seaweed. It was done on lima mui, and that's the ingredients that's in our fucoidan. And so according to Deshay, we can actually say things like that as long as we're pointing at the research. And we're saying the research says this, and our like product has that.
1,000 plus. Research articles on PubMed about fucoidan.
And there's going to be more and more all the time, because the scientists have actually discovered that fucoidan works on a nano level in your body. So it's really, really cool. Wow. And people tell me, oh yeah, I already take a fucoidan product. It's cheaper than your product. You get what you pay for, folks.
Hey, you know, we know that they tested our fucoidan in Japan, where they have fucoidan all the time. Word up was that their fucoidan runs about $800 a month, and our product tested 8 times more effective than what they pay for over there.
Wow,
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, for $50 a month.
And that's Tom. You know, I mean, he has intensified it so much with his little special machine he made and everything. Yeah. So we know we're getting the best probably in the world.
Yeah, I would say that we definitely are getting it back. So the next product that I want to talk about is the last product in the whole triangle of Lifeline. Can you read that there?
Eternity.
Eternity. And what's Eternity? Eternity is resveratrol. It's a resveratrol polyphenol supplement, right? And there's so many studies on resveratrol. Dr. Sinclair did studies on it. We can't mention his name. He didn't do studies on our product. He did studies on resveratrol. And what they found is that the resveratrol helped with a lot of different things. We're not going to get into that, but just all these different things that had to do with anti-aging, including protection of the cardiovascular system. So what happened is that all of these other scientists tried to recreate the studies that Dr. Sinclair did. And they came back and they told them, they said, you falsified your work. It's not, we're not finding the same thing. And what they found, what Tom found, what researchers found is that you have to use a resveratrol that's not exposed to oxygen. It's not exposed to the atmosphere, because when it gets exposed to the oxygen, when it gets exposed to the atmosphere, what ends up happening is that the resveratrol somehow oxidizes and it's not effective. And so when Tom makes this product, when he makes Eternity, he coats each molecule with a liposome, and then he bottles it, and it never gets exposed to oxygen. And then he reverse fills the bottle with nitrogen so that there's no way oxygen can get into this bottle until you screw the cap off of it. Cool, huh?
Very cool.
Yeah, I like that.
And they actually did come back after they did come back and support Dr. David Sinclair and his research after they told him he didn't do it. They came back and said he did. So
yeah. So folks, we're running about 10 minutes overtime, but bear with me. The next one I want to talk about is 4Restore. 4Restore is so important because what they find is that your body, you have issues with your libido, you have issues with hormones, you have issues with inflammation, you have issues with nitric oxide, and it keeps the arteries healthy. And what happens is that the inside of the arteries, if it starts to get hard, where the artery won't expand, what ends up happening is that every time your heart pounds, every time your heart beats, right, it puts pressure against those arteries. And if the artery is hard, pretty soon what's going to end up happening to the artery, Andrea?
Blowout.
It's going to blow out, right? And you're going to have little tiny mini aneurysms, and there's going to be little tiny tears. And it happened to a friend of mine. He had an aneurysm in his eye.
Wow.
Right? And now he's blind in his right eye. Right?
Yeah.
You don't need that, folks. I mean, you don't need that. So the reason that Tom took and put this together was he was identifying the different ingredients that you can use that, again, we don't have any studies on 4Restore. We're not a research laboratory. What we are is we are a researching laboratory, and then we formulate products based on the research. But the research is done on the individual ingredients, and then we put the therapeutic dose in our product. When you look at this and it says, 150%, when it says 3,185 milligrams in the proprietary blend, why doesn't it say 2,500 milligrams in the proprietary blend? Because they found that this is what you need. This is the therapeutic dose. When Tom puts his products together, that's what he's basing it on. And can you go out and find other products that have nitric oxide boosters? Sure you can. Can you find other products that support human growth hormone? Can you find other products that support libido? Sure you can. We weren't the first one to come to the market with this stuff. We weren't the first resveratrol product. We weren't the first fucoidan product, but we did it one step better than everybody else.
Yep.
So, Andrea, that's hey, I got one more product that I didn't even have on my list, but I want to add it. Can I add another one?
Sure. We'll let you do whatever you want. It's your call.
Brain Vitality.
Oh, yes. Yes, definitely.
Why does Brain Vitality have to be on there?
for anti-aging.
Right. Prevent
Explain that
degeneration of your brain. Because who wants to be 110 years old and not know anything, not remember anything, right? Right. It's called history because it's his story. It's, even though it's his story, it should be her story, right? I mean, if you can't remember and you can't, who wants to grow old not remembering stuff?
Not me.
Right. So you need brain vitality to go along with everything else. And folks, we could talk about Renovator, we could talk about Inner Chi, we could talk about Super Detox. These are all great products. But Andrea, I know this call is a product call, but why is it important that we have to talk about the Sisel business when we start talking about where we are right now?
Where we are right now, the first 48 hours.
Right. Why do we? No, just not necessarily, but this brochure comes when somebody joins, right? Why is it important that we talk about building a business?
Well, so you can share with friends, family, people you know, the great advantages of the health products. And in doing that, you get money, and that money covers the cost of your products to keep you healthy.
Bingo, right? I mean, if you bought every single product, the 10 products that I just went over, you're going to be spending $500 a month. I mean, folks, $6,000 a year. Are you going to do that?
Most people won't.
No, most people won't. And that's the word on the street is most people won't do that. So guess what they buy?
I can't even say it.
They won't buy anything, right?
Oh, okay. Well,
right.
Some of them do, but it doesn't do them any good.
Right. Most people don't buy anything because they go, oh man, well, $500 a month. I'm not going to spend $6,000 a year. How do I know it works? That's what they say. How do I know it works? Right. I mean, because they don't know they're going to live 10 years longer. What if they'll say, what if I die at the same age I would have died at before?
Well, we usually have evidence that the products are working.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
It creates changes.
But you can't keep doubting the science. You can't keep saying, hey, that science isn't right, that isn't correct. And I mean, there's Nobel Prize stuff here. And I know that doesn't mean everything in the world, because there's people who've gotten Nobel Prize that shouldn't have. But, we won't get into that. But, folks, I love doing these calls. Every Tuesday, we're on this call, noon Eastern, and we're sharing with people kind of my thoughts, Andrea's thoughts, and you might disagree with me. I noticed somebody that when I posted that I was doing this call, she's kind of the ridiculing it, making fun of anti-aging, and
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I've been anti-aging for 17 months now. I love it.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that, you got to do things in order to ensure that you're going to have a healthy life. What if I still die at the age of 70?
You're going to die in really good shape.
I'm going to die in really good shape, right? What if I die at 110 and I'm still in really good shape?
Yeah. Probably from bungee jumping or something.
Yeah. The bungee cord will break on me, at 110. Or it'll stretch my legs off of me.
Hopefully not.
But, folks, so thanks for being here with us. Andrea, I'm going to let you close out the call. And if you share this with everybody, get the word out. We're here every Tuesday, same time, same place, right here on Facebook. So.
Yeah, well, thank you, Doc. We appreciate your time and energy to put together these calls so that you can share these benefits with others, and they can determine what they want to do with their own health. And that's all we're doing, is we're just sharing information with you. So join us next Tuesday, same time, same place, live. See you then.
All right. Bye. Thanks, Andrea. Thanks, everyone.